Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. It's Belinda here from Visualized NZ. I am super happy today to bring you the Trash Craft Tuesday project. I've been playing this morning, just making sure that I knew how this was going to pan out. And I just adore this project. It is slightly more complicated than a quick make, but I'm going to do this as a tutorial, I hope. So hopefully you can follow along. Don't get me wrong, it's not super complicated, it's just a little more complicated than a straight make. So what you will need for today, if you'd like to play along with me, is you'll need 2 window envelopes that are the same size. Okay, so 2, doesn't matter what size they are, but 2 that are the same size. I wouldn't recommend like a big foolscap or A4 envelope, like just ones that are going to fit in your journal. 2 of those. You're going to need some collage material. I am using the collage pages from Nanna's Roses kit by RachandBella Crafts. Beautiful collage papers, and I'm going to be using those. You will need, well, you don't need, if you don't want thumb notches, you don't need a circle punch, or you could just cut them with scissors if you don't have a circle punch, but I will be using a circle punch today. This one is, I can never remember the dimensions, so let me just measure it for you. 1.5 inch, I think, or better if we measure the hole, because that's more accurate. 1 3/4 inch. Okay, so 1 3/4 inch hole punch is what I'm using, but you use whatever you've got, or you can hand cut it, or you can just not put thumb notches in. I am going to be using just a little bit of coffee dyed paper. You don't need this. Again, you could use any sort of paper. You could use more collage paper, you could use note paper, but I'll be using coffee dyed. I like to ink, so I've got my trusty vintage photo. If you're not an inker, don't worry, it's not essential. Okay, and I do find it handy just to have a journal page, one that's about your typical size, available to do measuring on. I like to tear my papers, so I've got a ruler to tear with. You can use whatever. You can cut with scissors, you can use a paper trimmer, whichever way you work best, you do you. But I tend to just use a ruler. Okay, I think, and glue. Of course, we need glue. We're crafters, we need glue. So I'm just using my tacky glue. You can use glue stick. I just found it easier to not use glue stick, to be honest. But glue stick is absolutely fine. I just, particularly on camera, find this less messy and quicker, and I don't get so sticky. Yeah. So let's talk about envelopes. I've got 2 envelopes here. Just push everything there to the side for a moment. I need them to be open at the top. Okay, so they need to be open at the top like this. So this one's fine, it's been sliced this way, but this one has been, it's got a tear strip here, and so it's been opened like that. And don't worry about any stains or splashes or anything, that's not going to be a problem. And I need it to be open at the top. So first I need to actually repair this so that it's not the wrong way. What am I trying to say? Just so that it works for the project. So I'm going to grab out washi tape, and I'm just going to grab this one because it happens to be right by me. It's a really pretty one. I'm just not sure whether it's going to end up showing. So in case it shows, I'm going to use a pretty one. It's probably a good place to use one that you don't like, because it probably will be covered over, but I'm just not sure at this stage, so I'm going to go ahead and just pop down a bit of washi tape over that cut to join it back together. And it's just to hold it together in the meantime. So yeah, I probably should have used one that I don't like or don't use. Right, okay, so now I'm going to put my 2 envelopes together, and I'm going to trim them down at the top just so that they're both open at the top and the same height. You could probably not have them at the same height, but I think my preference is that they are the same height. So if you've got an envelope that's open at the wrong place, first mend it so it's okay, and then you can open where you want it open. So I'm just gonna so craft knife again. You could do it with scissors or a paper trimmer, but I'm using craft knife. So another piece of equipment you might want handy. Is that, no, that's still not coming off. Let's use a bit of elbow grease. There we go. And that should be the only time we need the craft knife, is just for doing that little bit. Get rid of the scraps out of my way. So we have two envelopes that are now both open at the top. Okay, now see how that is? See how that flips up? And we've got this tabs on the side. I'm going to glue those down. I'm just going to put a bit on that washi tape as well. So I want them to be stable. No flappy bits running around. There we go. And then I'm just going to check that. I think that the flap that's stuck on the other side, I think is fine. Okay, is there any flappy bits loose on this? Yes. So I'm just going to go in. Careful that you don't actually end up gluing your pocket shut when you do this. So just put glue on the flappy side bits, and then open it up and just make sure that you're not gluing it together. I haven't even said what we're making today. Oh well, I'll get this done and then we'll do that. And also I want to say, how are you all today? I'm filming this Monday as per usual, and you will see it on Tuesday. Well, if you're in New Zealand or Australia or a place like that, you'll see it Tuesday. Otherwise you might be seeing it on your Monday. But it's Tuesday. We'll go up Tuesday here in New Zealand. Okay, so we've got our two envelopes. Now I'll show you what we're making so that you're not blind. I'm not blindly leading you. We're making this. It is a journal insert, so it goes in a signature like so, and it wraps around, so it goes obviously in your journal, so that there's two sides. So we have, just grab out this folder, we've got a pocket here, just that wide pocket there. We have a pocket here, and open it up, and we've got a bigger window pocket here, and then on the other side of the signature we have the same thing. So we've got this smaller pocket up the top here, we've got this side loading pocket, and also I've made it so that there's a bit of writing space on the end of each, but you could just decorate it up if you didn't want the writing space. And then on the back, we've got a nice big window pocket. Sound like fun? I am super happy with it. You could actually, it just occurred to me, you could actually use it as a wraparound on a journal page instead if you preferred. So you could glue it on like that, and that would work just as well. So there's another idea. You can either sew it in to the signature, or you could wrap it around the side of your page. Okay, so that's what we're making. It did take me a little bit of headspace just to make sure I was working it out okay. Right, so what we need to do is we need to fold our two envelopes. Take your first one, and we want to fold the window into the middle. Okay, and how I did this is I positioned it on my page where I wanted it. I don't want it right to the edge of my page, and the reason for that is if it is sewn into a signature and I've got it right to the end of the page like that, and then it's towards the middle and it gets pushed out, you know, where your papers stack up and your middle ones kind of get pushed out a bit. If I want to level them up, I'm going to end up trimming off the side of my pocket, and I don't want it open on this side. I want it open at the top. So I bring it in enough so that if I do need to trim pages down, I'm not going to catch the side of my envelope. And once I've got in position, I just give it a little crease there, remove the page, make sure it's straight, lining up just the bottom, and then go in with my folder and give it a good press. One done. So the next one, so this one we folded the window into the middle. This one we need to fold the window to the outside, so the back is into the middle. So I did it the same way, put it on my page to measure, flipped it over, and they don't have to be the same width, they can be different widths. Gave it a little press just to line it, at the bottom side, at the folded side, a little press, and then came in and give it a nice firm press there. Okay, so you'll have one, getting all tangled up in papers here, one with the window on the inside and one with the window on the outside. Make sense so far? I hope I'm making sense here. And then they overlap together. So you've got, have I got that right? Yes. So this gets stuck down, that's your pocket and your side loading pocket. Then you've got your big window pocket, then you've got your top pocket here and your side pocket, and then you've got your window pocket. Okay, so how I keep track of this so that you don't get completely lost is I put it together, make sure I've got it the right way round, and I go through and put a C. So I need to collage this bit. This bit here and behind is going to be covered. It's going to be inside the pocket. So this is collage plain. So I put CP, so collage plain. That's just my own short code. You can put whatever, you could write it out properly because it's going to be covered over. Then I open it up, and then this is all collage across. And then again, this is collage plain. And then this is collage. Just so I know where I'm going. And you don't have to, you could do it in pen because it's going to be covered, so no problem. Okay, and then I just simply start at the front. And so I'm going to remove the inside one and just work on this one. And use these beautiful papers from Nanna's Roses. So I'll put the link down in the description box. And I might, yep, I can wrap that around there. So let's just, I don't wrap everything around the spine because if you do sew it in, you don't want it too bulky. But one piece I do wrap around. I'm just going to pop that down there. This is left over from my prototype, so I may as well keep using. And then let it crease right on that spine and trim it down to what I need. Just going to go about there, I think. Probably didn't leave myself enough to tear, but I hope you're all having a lovely week so far. It was Father's Day on Sunday. I don't know if that's the same day around the world. I suspect not. So here in New Zealand it was Father's Day on Sunday. So we were out all day. Went to my in-laws' church, and then we went back to their place after church, and yeah, had just a really lovely afternoon spending time with my husband's parents, which was very, very lovely. We don't get to see them very much, so yeah, it was just a beautiful day. Really lovely. Okay, I think that will go there. Just want to trim it down a little bit. So a good project if you're into collaging. This is quite fun. I like working around all the bits, like working out how to get around the window and everything. It just kind of makes me happy. It's fun. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, a collage jigsaw puzzle. So I feel like I'm playing, and isn't that a good thing when we feel like we're just having fun playing with our paper and our bits and pieces. Good way to use up your scraps as well for this. Put that one across the top there. I'm making sure I'm covering the curves on the window to give it a straight look, just rather than having a white blank curve in the middle, or in the corner I should say, not in the middle. And it's a bit big, so let's trim that down. So yeah, I find the ruler very handy. Actually, I'll do it the other way, do it this way. If I can see where I'm ruling. There we go. And some of these small scraps, we're going to be able to use those as well. So very little wastage in this project I've found so far. Didn't quite tear that properly. Get rid of that little bit. So use whatever you've got to hand for the collage. You know, use up your scraps, go into your scrap bin or whatever you keep scrap bin, or use digitals like I'm using. You could even use like magazine papers, wrapping paper. Just go for gold, whatever colours, whatever materials you like. This Nanna's Roses digital kit is perfect for this. It's already collage pages, but tearing off bits and pieces to use them in a different combination is fun. Now, where I've got a little overhang, I just come in and carefully trim it. Now, if worst comes to worst and you actually end up cutting into your envelope, I did that on this one. I actually ended up cutting off the side of my envelope, so I just went in with some washi tape and repaired it. And I chose one that, you know, matches the colours and everything, and it's that same one I used to repair this envelope. As it happens, that's why it was out, because I'd already used it. And let's pop a bit of this down here. Oops, just keep forgetting to put the lid on my glue, and I don't want it clogging on me. Something that only takes a second to do is to put the lid on the glue. So I'd rather take that time than have to sit here and unclog it while you're waiting. Such fine tips, it doesn't take much for them to block up, for the glue to dry in the tip. And there we go, that side is collaged. And I've just got a little overhang there. Could have been left, but you know, I tend to get a bit perfectionist, I guess. Right, so I like to do this in stages. So I've collaged this side. This side is a pocket, so I'm going to just unfold this. I haven't actually finished that side, have I? I started on that side, I forgot. I'm going to put my hole punch in and try and gauge roughly center of just of this bit here, and take my thumb notch out. Okay, so I've done that, and now I like to ink. So absolutely not necessary to ink if you're not an inker. Don't feel like you have to do that if you're not, you know, you're not one who inks. I just love to me it feels finished. when I ink. I'm not going to do the spine. I can always do that later. If it's going to go on the edge of a page, wrap around a page, then I might like to ink the spine. But if it's going into a signature, then that's going to be hidden anyway in amongst the pages, so no point on doing it. Yeah, so just depends which way you're going to use it. Okay, now these little strips I told you that we won't be throwing away, I like to cut just a little bit. Actually, I want a different one, so I don't want it to be the same paper as that, so I'm just going to take a piece of this instead. Make sure it's slightly deeper than your thumb notch, and I'm going to put some glue on it, of course. Make sure my text is up the right way. I'm just going to slide it in there and position it where that thumb notch has been taken out. See that? So instead of this blue pattern the inside of the envelope, or whatever you've got inside the envelope, I've covered it. I'm not worried about this area. If you are bothered by that, absolutely you could slide a bit of paper in and cover it. But we're going to be putting a tag or, you know, a journal card or something in there, and I'm happy with that. I don't mind this pattern. I think it's quite nice. It's not horrible to me. But if you don't like that, then you cover it with whatever. Right, so I need to finish up this side. Let's put a bit of blue. So I'm just going to tear off that bit there and put it aside. This is pretty. It's got little scallop pieces, but we're probably not going to be using that on this particular piece. That's okay. Be about, actually I'm going to take it to the edge of the yellow as well. Down there, and then we can trim off the little excess there. Right, concentrating there, could you tell? Okay, so I'm not worrying about wrapping around the spine too much. I think in this case I will, because I don't want that blue peeping through. I'm just going to wrap it around. No, I'm not, because I didn't leave enough of a excess. So I'm just going to put it right up to the spine there. It'll be fine. And if it does show a bit of ink, it's gonna be fine. I didn't think that through. Never mind. The worst case scenario, if it does show and it bothers you, just put a bit of washi tape over it. Use a bit of glue stick on your washi tape and it will be good as gold. It's always a way to fix something. Cover it over. Now I haven't actually decorated that other one that I did. I was going to do that before I started this video, and then I forgot because I was just eager to get going on the video. But you can certainly add labels, words, you know, the usual bits and pieces that you would want to add. Decorate it however you like. I do think they are rather pretty as it is, because I used bits. Oops, trying to get that in my rubbish bin. Like this lovely girl here, like she doesn't need anything else. Here I might put a label or a word or something, you know, in these places. That I think is beautiful just as is. So pick and choose what you think needs a little extra something and what doesn't. Okay, there we go. I get so distracted by glue on my fingers. Does anyone else feel that? Like you feel like you can't do anything until you've got it off because it's just a sensory thing? So I spend a lot of time peeling bits of glue off during videos and other times as well. Okay, so then I put them back together, just check that we're going the right direction. Yep, all looking good so far. And so now I come across and put my thumb notch in this side. Going to risk it, even though I've only just glued it on. So do be wary of punching too soon after gluing, because it might not punch very well. That went okay. Again, I'm going to ink up that. Now I can use this strip here, and I'm just going to, snip a bit and glue it inside the pocket like we did on the other side to cover that inside of the envelope. So I also haven't made things to go inside these, but you know, you can fill them with whatever. You put a little notebook or a journal card, a tag, bits of ephemera to use. You know, if it's your journal for taking out somewhere, you could put stickers or something in there to use while you're journaling. Here we go. So we've got the outside of one done. Okay. So again, I pop this in here. So, okay, no C or CP here, so I know that's going to be stuck down. Okay, so our washi tape here would have been hidden. And just as a matter of interest, this one would have been as well. Yeah, so silly me, I should have thought more about it. I could have just used any old grotty, grungy washi tape, cheap washi tape, instead of using something so pretty. But never mind. Never mind. Okay, so here is my CP where I want a bit of writing space. So I'm just going to grab my coffee dyed paper. I like to put it slightly into the pocket. I do this quite roughly, so I usually end up having to trim off a bit of excess, which I'm not worried about having to do. In my mind, it's better that than making it too small. I'm just making sure I get the glue fairly close to the edge, but also back a little bit. So if I do trim it off, I'm not trimming off where it's actually glued. There's still some glue holding it in place. See, like there. Rub off that glue so I don't gum up my scissors too badly. So then I'm always checking. You might not have to check so much like I do, but I like to just check that I'm on the right path. And it only takes a moment just to make sure that you know how it's coming together, how it's looking, where things are going to sit together. So you know what you want to partner together. Just find that helpful. So I'm going to go in here and give it a bit of ink around the edge. And that, to me, doing the inking is also like a sign like, yes, this part's done, rather than not inked and it's like, did I finish that bit? So it's just my way of keeping track of where I'm up to and how things are going. Now, I'm not putting a thumb notch in this pocket. If I were to do that, then I would end up opening up that part of the envelope. And that could be a problem when you go to put things in. It might catch in that part and try and go inside the pocket, but it's not open all the way. You've just got like a semicircle. So for that side, I'm just choosing to have it as a straight pocket rather than the tab, the thumb tab pocket. Okay, makes sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so that's the outside done. Now we come to the inside. So first off, I'm actually going to deal with this space here. More writing space. If you choose to have it as writing space, remember you could always just choose to decorate it up. Slide that out the way for the moment. And you could just leave the blank white envelope if you prefer, but you've got the flap of the envelope will show. So you could just cover like the flap and make that decorative, and then have the plain white envelope or whatever colour your envelope is instead. That's another way of dealing with it. But I've just got these plain business type envelopes that aren't terribly exciting. So I think just adding that little bit of writing space for little notes. Oh, that side's got some nice marks on it. So let's glue that side, this plainer side down. I think I took more care on making this one the right size. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. So again, inking it up, and then I know this bit is done. Okay, hopefully you're following along. Let me know in comments if you had any problems with my directions. I'd be more than happy to try and remedy where I've led you astray or anything, or if something's not clear. Okay, so far so good. So now we're doing this entire piece here. Now for this piece I don't go right across. I don't know if you can see in this one, but I stopped at the spine, I guess, at the crease. I didn't go across the crease. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to or not, but I'm trying to avoid too much bulk in the spine. It is strong enough because there's 2 layers of envelope, plus I've got the overlap on this side. So there's 3 layers of, or 5 if you count that there's 2 layers of envelope. So 2 layers there, 2 layers here, plus the bit that you overlapped on the spine. So there's more than enough stability there. So what I do here is I just take it just up to the crease on either side, so just a slight gap, but you can go right across if you prefer. Have I got room to put these 2 wee children? That is super cute. I'm gonna see, might have to trim them down a little bit, but I think we can get away with it. They are so adorable. I'd like to use them on that little pocket. And there's enough room at the top that I wouldn't be chopping into any heads with doing my thumb notch. So we've got room to get her arm in, just, I think. Let's see. Just going to take it right, just slightly onto the fabric of her dress at the elbow. Oh no, it's slightly too wide. We can take a little bit off his bottom. Do you think it will hurt him? We'll just say it's the fabric on his bottom. It's not actually his flesh. I'm sure he won't feel a thing. Little cute guy that you are. Just want to make sure I get it straight as well. Otherwise I'm going to have to cut it with scissors if I don't take enough the first time. or do it crooked. So you didn't feel a thing, little guy, did you? You're all good. Yep, and I probably ended up taking slightly too much. Now this is interesting. I did not have this issue on this one that I did here. The bit in between is just white. This bit actually has text. So I don't want the text showing. I don't want any hint of it, the possibility of it showing. So I am going to want to put something over that. So I'm changing my mind, you know. It's a prerogative, isn't it, to change your mind? Yeah, okay, I'm going to go with that. Because my prototype, I did not have this issue. Ooh, that actually goes right to her, well, almost right to her hat. I think we can still get away with thumb notch though. Let's just go for it. So I think I want to put this one down underneath rather than on top of her. So let's see if we can get these fun scallopy bits in there. And then we don't need that whole width, do we? No, so I see no point in adding extra bulk with with those extra layers of paper. So I'm just going to do a smaller overlap. And then we've got another fun scrap. Okay. So crafting too is about finding ways to deal with things as they crop up, like that text showing. Now I could have just chosen envelopes that didn't have any text on them. You know, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but not quite so wonderful as foresight. Thinking ahead and solving an issue before it's actually an issue. Okay, trim that off. There we go. Now we can put down our two adorable children. That's so sweet. Just gorgeous papers. So many pretty colours and textures. Super fun to play with. I did say that they're from RachandBella Crafts, didn't I? I hope I did. Be very remiss of me if I didn't. Okay, a little bit at the top there needing trimming. Okay, so I need to do my thumb notch, but I also want the glue to just dry for a moment before I do that. So before I do the thumb notch, I'm going to find some bits of paper. I like the idea of this blue along the bottom here. So let's just get that ready. I'm just going to stop at that pretty bit there and tear it off. I think it's fun to take collage papers and then tear it into bits and use them in a different arrangement. I think that's really fun and a way of making things totally yours. So not, I mean, it's perfectly fine to use it as is. I mean, that's beautiful. But just to find a way to mix it up a bit and make the project completely yours, that nobody would have put them in exactly the same way as what you have. It's fun. And it's creative. So for anyone who's wondering why you take a collage page and then, you know, play with it, rip it up and put it in a different arrangement, that's why. Because that's bringing in your creativity to the beautiful inspirational creativity of whoever's digital you might be working with. Okay, so I think we're good now to go in with our punch. I'm just going to crease it so I know where I'm centering it to. Oops. Fingers and thumbs. So I'm also holding it by the crease as another way. I'm trying not to get the top of his head, or just a few hairs. We just gave him a slight haircut. He's fine, he's intact. And before I do the inking, let's just put a bit of paper in there. Which bit do I want to use? Yep, bit of that. I'm just going to tear that off. I like it to be different to what's in the front so that you can see it. It makes it stand out a little bit more. Didn't quite get that straight, but it's okay. Ink to the rescue. Oh, it hides a multitude of issues. If you have issues with your paper craft, ink is going to cover a majority of them up, and no one will be the wiser. Okay, so that side's done. So on with this side. Let's continue. We're almost done actually, people. So hopefully you're still hanging in there with me. Oh, I like this piece. This is pretty. And it is just about the perfect width. So we've got a lot of blue going on this side, which is great. Because there's not a lot of blue actually on this first one that I did. So it's going to make it look quite different to the other one, which is a happy thing. I'll put it that way, this way, this way. There's no direction. I was just looking at the straight edge versus the torn edge, which way round I wanted it. So there we go. Who loves a good envelope project? I know there's a number of my subbies who love a good used envelope project. And it was one of my subbies, the beautiful Selena, who commented about that in my last Trash Craft Tuesday video. And straight away, just her telling me that she loved ways and always looking for ways of using envelopes, straight away inspired me, and this idea came to my head. Like it was really weird. It was just like I hadn't thought about it before. So if you have any ideas or, you know, things you'd like to see, bits of trash or whatever that you'd like to see me do in a video, do let me know. And if I've got that piece of thing, whatever it might be, available, because we haven't got everything here in New Zealand compared to other countries, then I'll absolutely put my mind to it and see if I can come up with something to do with whatever that piece of trash is. So don't be shy in, you know, giving me ideas or feedback. More than happy to hear what you would like to see. Trash Craft Tuesday is challenging in that sometimes I come to a trash craft to do the video and it's like, what am I going to do? What am I going to use? And sometimes it's like, it can take me a good wee while to think of what I'm going to do. So when Selena said this to me last week and the idea came straight away, it was like, wow, super cool. So it's a really great way that you can be involved. Now I didn't ink around this, did I? So I'm going to do that while I wait for that glue to dry. Oops, I didn't need that to happen. Just ended up with my ruler in the ink pad. So take care of that before it gets transferred where I don't want it. Ink around this, and then we should be ready for that thumb notch to be cut out. And I ink that even though I'm going to be cutting the thumb notch. I'll just go back and re-ink where I take the half circle from. Ah, golly gosh. It's not wanting to comply. Okay, so again, just trying to roughly centre it in that section. I think about there looks okay. Take my wee thumb notch. And what paper would I like in this one? I think this is quite pretty. So we trim off the image. Yep, we don't need all of that, so I'm just going to trim it down. I'm not worried whether it's straight edge or not. It will be visible, as you know, if people look, but that just adds to the fun. Slide that in. So this has got a different interior. Oops. Let's try that again. Get it in the right place. Right, we're almost to the point of putting these two pieces together to make our full piece. That's exciting. Sponge crumbs everywhere. Okay. Ah, just love it. Okay, where's my other piece? Here it is. So refold that. I've got sponge crumbs in between, but they're going to be glued down, so I'm not worried about those. I'm going to give this another crease because I ended up going over that to fix our little text issue. So fold that. Make sure it's all working. So we've got our pocket, and that opens up. Then we've got our pocket, 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 and pocket. Brilliant. Love that. Okay, so we're down to gluing it together. And I did do a mistake on my first one and had to quickly take it up before the glue completely dried because I realized there was an issue. So to do this, I line up the spine and I put glue at the top and bottom of this pocket. Okay. Whoops. On the pocket dairy, not off it. And then flick it over. Oops. Try not to slide it. Okay, so that's our first side put together. Now when I did this, I then folded this side up, glued here, and then stuck that down. The issue with that was that when you open it up, it will not lay flat. Okay, so to avoid that issue, once you've got that first side glued down, then come in and put your glue on this side, top and bottom again. And then glue it down while it's flat. Okay. Just giving it a good press there, make sure it's nicely stuck. And here, oops, I did actually neglect to ink that. See, this is the problem. If I do it as I go, I'm just going to, before that glue completely sets, go and get that edge a bit. Then I am likely to do things like that and forget that I haven't got a piece inked. Okay, once it's dry, then you can fold it, and it will buckle a little bit. Just line up the pieces and then push towards that spine and give it another good crease. Okay, and then you'll find that it sits nicely folded, but it also opens out flat. Okay, so when you're refolding it, just line up your two outside edges and you'll feel it buckling, but just push it back in towards that spine, give it a really good burnish, and then you're not going to get a lot of puckering in the center there. How are we doing on time? Oh gosh, yes, we're quite well on time, aren't we? I'm thinking I would like to just decorate. Do I want to put a bit of decoration on both of them just to finish up? So I'm going to grab out my other digitals from RachandBella Crafts. So for those of you who've been following the collaboration, that was Be Summer Inspired. I've just got my bits sitting in here that I did for that. But I'm looking for the Truly Blue fussy cuts, which I have not made an envelope for them to sit in, and I haven't actually finished fussy cutting them out, I see. So I thought, let's play with these. So those bits I won't need, that I won't need. So I need to make myself an envelope from the Truly Blue cover sheet to put all these bits in. But these will work really lovely with the Nanna's roses. So let's have a look what we might want to... Oh, straight away. It's like, that's so pretty. That's definitely going there. So back to the ink. I'm just going to give it just a little light tickle up around the edges with the ink. Gosh, my tummy's starting to gurgle. It's getting on towards lunchtime. 6 minutes to 12 to midday. I just think that's so pretty. I might use glue stick for this, I think. Let's just grab that over. Sorry for the reaching. But everything was over under to my left, under where the camera is. New glue stick. So I like to do my fussy cutting when I'm away from home. So like sometimes I'll go and hang out at my husband's work for a day, and so I'll take my scissors and my papers and sit there and fussy cut out. It's a really good time to do it, you know, because I can't take too much with me, although I always seem to try. Poor hubby has to cut things backwards and forwards for me. So the fussy cutting is a really nice compact thing I can take and do, you know, out. I just love that as is. I think that's super pretty. So is there a word? The words? I don't think I've cut the words out yet from this kit. So maybe we'll go with a stamped word. Sorry, finish my sentence would be a good thing, wouldn't it? What do you think they're talking about? It's like they're having a little conversation. going to cover their feet, but does that matter? I don't think it does. I think that's rather cute. So let's pop that down. Just, I mean, it would be absolutely beautiful just left as is. It doesn't need anything, but I like the idea of this, so I'm going to go with it. Sorry about your feet, little kitties. Oops, just trying to make sure I get it roughly in the middle. They're having a moment. They're talking about something, don't know what, but they're having a little moment. Okay, gorgeous. Okay, so we want something, you probably can't see the big pile of ephemera to the side. I kind of like that actually, because you could still see whatever you put in the pocket. But when you've taken it out the pocket, it's still got interest there, not just the plain background. And I like this. Like, you wouldn't see these together, but I kind of like, while it's like this, that the bird's looking at the children. It's like, can I be in on their secret, whatever they're talking about? Maybe the little boy is saying to the girl, look over there, there's a bird watching us. I do like making up stories to how the various pieces are interacting together. Just amuses me, I guess. Okay, just giving you a little bit of a darker outline there, my bird. Might change our page actually. I think that page is getting a bit sticky. Oh, yeah, stuck to my fingers. Gross. Oh, that wasn't great. Got a big gouge of glue there. Whoops. Should have been a bit more careful. Just got his tail on the edge of the card there. Right, just give this a wipe down so I don't smear glue. It's quite simple. Like, I haven't done a lot to it, but it just gives it that extra little something, don't you think? Love that. Love that. Okay, so we've done those two, and over here we could do something over the window again. How about that? It seems like the first thing I pick up is just like, yeah, I like it. Let's go with it. And why not? It's wonderful dealing with such beautiful digitals, because it truly does make it so much easier and less time consuming. I mean, sometimes I'll sit there and ponder. It's like, no. But today it seems to be I'm on a roll. It's like, yes, I love how that looks. Oops, I better do the whole thing. It's going to look a bit weird if I only did halfway round. Right, let's try not to gouge out our glue again and use up that bit that I did gouge. Oh dear, look what I did. That wasn't ideal. I'm still going to use it. It's not going to be wasted. I'm just going to stick it down bit by bit. And that's because it got stuck on my glue page in a bit of glue. I'm just going to match it up. It's going to be all good. Whoops, don't stick to my finger. It's all going to be good. Dramas of crafting. Oops, and now it's not actually sticking properly at that point. Just A little bit more glue. And there we go. Beautiful. Can't tell at all. Well, barely. Just kind of looks more like an ink, a line of ink rather than a tear. I still love it. I still think it looks beautiful, and no one would really know. Just wondering about something over here. What have we got that's a bit smaller? I've got a lot of room here to be fiddling through things. Oh, there's a butterfly. What do we think? Is it a little big, maybe? Just looking for something a bit smaller. Some of these I need to print at half size. They'd be quite handy at half size, I think. Go with a fun label. Like that. Oh, here's some other bits that are smaller. This is quite funny. Fun is what I meant to say. Oh, I like that. Okay, that bit sold me. Yeah, so sometimes it does take a little bit longer to work out what you like, where, like this piece did. See, I jinxed myself, didn't I? I was saying I was on a roll, and then next minute I wasn't. And it probably started with tearing that flower. The Adventures of Crafting. Stay tuned for what's going to happen next. Brought to you daily by Belinda of Visualized NZ. There we go. How's that for a wee reel? I do enjoy being silly. Being silly is fun. My husband likes to be silly with me too, and we have some fun word plays. There we go. That one's all done and decorated. It just needs things to fill it up. So I think we've got a few more minutes if you can hang in with me. If not, then feel free to move on. I just want to decorate this one up, so I'm not going to put anything there. I love it as is. Over here, I want something over here. This would bring in a bit of blue. Or butterfly. I like the butterfly. Let's go butterfly. Oops, just get the antenna. I was going to say antlers. If you're a watcher of Gail Agostinelli, you will completely get why I was about to say antlers. Because that's the word she uses for antenna. She knows the proper word, but it's just from her own experience and family history and everything. She calls them antlers, and this just popped into my head. I was gonna say antlers instead of antenna. Oops. So that's quite funny. Never underestimate the influence of other people in what you do and what you say and what you think. It does have an on-flowing effect. So always make sure you're, as much as possible, that your interactions are positive so that you have a positive impact on others. How's that for a deep piece of conversation for a Tuesday morning? Or for me, it's a Monday morning. Do we want anything else? It's a cute little stampy piece here. I don't think it needs it, actually. We could do a word. Oh, how about that? I like that. Bliss. Blissful butterfly. You see I've gone back to the tacky glue because I get frustrated with the stickiness of the glue stick. I'm getting my fingers all stuck up. Right, there we go. This one I'm going to leave as is. Could pop a word, but I don't think I'm going to because there is text around it. So I'm going to leave that one as is. And over here, no, I feel like that's a bit big for there. That's big as well, but I like it. I do like that there. Beautiful hydrangea. So I'm going to do it. I haven't cut out, there's a little bit of white here, which I haven't cut out, and I'm not going to take the time to do that now on camera. So I'm just going to put a bit of ink on it and just tone it down slightly, and it'll be good as gold. So I'm sorry if this video is a bit long for you guys, but I just really wanted to finish these up completely, decorate them up, and I'm just having so much fun playing. It's really making me happy, and I hope you're happy today too. That's so pretty. Stunning. Love it. And do we want to pop this wee? I think I do. Last bit, guys, I promise. And then we will have a quick wee look at what we've done, and then I'll let you go. If you haven't already disappeared. In which case I'm sitting here talking to myself. There we go. Okay, I've got a bit of cleanup to do on my desk, but I'll ignore that for the moment. Hopefully it's not too cluttered for you to see what I'm going to show you. Not that you haven't seen them before, but here we go. Two, mess, out the way. Two, what are we going to call them? There's actually 6 pockets in total. So on each side there's 3. I don't know. If you have a suggestion, I'll obviously put something in the title, but if you have a better suggestion than what I put in the title, please throw it at me. I'd be more than happy to hear. I think they're really cool. They are super fun and super useful, with just like bucket loads of places to put things. Like, how fun. How fun. And number 6. Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you're inspired by this project. Let me know or tag me in social media if you make something along these lines or inspired by these. I'd love to see how you interpret it. Have a great week, my friend. I will catch you again soon. Bye for now.